Let's take a tour of our data center. We set out to build a data center specifically designed for mining. We call this a proof of work optimized data center, or pod. The first thing we had to consider for our data center was where to locate it. For that, we looked at many factors, including easy access to low-cost power, climate, travel time to get there, and the real estate cost. Ultimately, when looking at all of these factors for us, Salt Lake City worked out to be the right location. But those factors for you may yield something different. Our facility today is an 8,000 square foot building. It has 480 volt three-phase power coming in, a 300 kilowatt transformer that is easily upgraded to 1 megawatt of power. In our data center, we did a few things a little different than the traditional data center since we're focused on mining. For example, we have no redundant power or battery backup systems. These add significant upfront costs for minimal gains for mining. Second, we use 480 volt power throughout for all of our mining machines. This eliminates upfront cost and helps keep ongoing expenses low by not utilizing transformers for that. Our facility today houses 7 racks with over 1,100 GPUs and just under 200 systems. This leaves us lots of room to grow, both on the power front and of course on square footage as well. So a tour of the data center's got to start with looking at the racks, right? These racks are a custom design that we did with a focus on high efficiency and trying to do some innovative things on the power delivery side. Most interesting about our racks, I think, is that we're powering them off of 480 volt power, 480 volt three-phase power. That means that we can run 277 volt power supplies, which we have also built and designed into our system. The racks themselves house 162 GPUs each. They have 27 machines within those racks, therefore 6 GPUs per motherboard. We looked at doing things with motherboards like some of these 18-slot motherboards, which are great. They work wonderful. We even offer some of those on our website as products you can buy. However, in our configuration, we wanted to do something that was a little bit more simple and would be easier to maintain. The cost savings we looked at between the 18-slot motherboards and the 6-slot motherboards wasn't significant, and the downside, in our view, of the 18-slot motherboards was that if one goes down, it takes 18 GPUs with it. In our case, if the system goes down, we lose 6 GPUs only. So from that standpoint, we decided this was the better way to go for us. The other piece of that equation, looking at 6 slots versus 18-slot motherboards, was that it didn't save us money on power supplies and other infrastructures. We still would need 3 power supplies to drive 18 GPUs in either configuration. So at the end of the day, we decided to go with this simpler approach for large-scale maintenance purposes. The other thing to look at with our rack designs is the use of our fans, how we're cooling these systems. You'll see 3 fans over here that are blowing air on this side. There's actually 3 fans on the other side of the rack as well that are blowing air down there. We can show you a shot down the tunnel that's created between the GPUs that are on both sides of this rack, and you can see how air is basically going through that tunnel and then the opposing air is hitting each other and pushing air out the racks on the sides. When these are running, you can stand in front of them and just feel the air coming right off the GPUs. So the opposing air design is working out really well for us. So each shelf has 9 machines on it. It's connected to our New School Mining's 9-port smart PDU that lets us easily control these systems remotely through a smart web interface. That PDU connects to an outlet here, which goes to a breaker in the breaker panel. The breaker panel drives 2 racks, so 1 breaker per shelf, basically, in there. Using the high voltage that we're using means that we can use relatively small cables, even though that's pretty big. That's actually a 12-gauge cable, to drive these efficiently. So the use of the 480 power allowed us to keep a very innovative design within the racks. So from that breaker panel that handles 2 racks, you can see power here comes into it via this conduit that goes to the wall. We have these nice disconnects on the wall. So that disconnect, 100 amp, 480 volt disconnect, will turn off 2 racks if needed. It's currently off so that we can do this filming. Power into this panel, then there's 3 lines that come out the top and go over this chase that we built across here to go to the second rack, where you can see it goes down to the outlets here that power the PDUs on this second rack. So each pair of racks is basically a unit. So here you can see some of our racks set up. This is 3 racks that we've got running here on the back side of the building. There's another 4 up front. So we've got a total of about just about 190 systems running in the building, with just over 1,100 GPUs running today. We have plenty of room here to expand. We have plans to do that over the next 6 to 12 months to keep growing this facility more and more. So the other thing you have to think about in a data center like ours is keeping the systems running cool. We located our data center in Salt Lake City for a few specific reasons. One of them was the outside air temperature. Most of the year here in Salt Lake, it is fairly cool outside, and when it is hot in the summer, like it is today, we have evaporative cooling that can be used to help keep the temperatures low. So this is one of the things that we've done to try to innovate, is to build this air handler that you see behind me. This is a prototype of what we're planning to deploy several of throughout this building. They will actually go up on the second story over the racks in the future. But in this big wood box is actually 2 compartments, 2 rooms. You see the first door there. That room is where all the air filters are. So here you can see some of the filters that we're running. These are 4-inch filters. There's actually 2 layers of filters in here. So we're getting double filtration, MERV 8s on the front, MERV 13s on the back. There's a total of 24 filters times 2, so 48 filters that are in here to pull this air in. Helps us get nice, clean air into the data center. The second door here is where our evaporative coolers are. You can see them running here, pulling air. There's actually on this wall, behind those air filters, is 2 fans. Those fans just help pull air through the air filters so that the evaporative coolers don't have to pull as hard to get the air through there. We have a water filter down there on the end to filter some of the water before it gets into the evaporative coolers as well. So we're pulling in air from the outside, running them through a large bank of air filters, then going to some fans to help push that air, pull that air through the filters, and then going to these evaporative coolers that are bringing cool air into this space. So here you're looking at a few more of the racks that we've got in the front of the building. As I mentioned before, we have a total of 7 racks in this building today. We are open to also working with anybody out there who wants to co-host within our facility. So if you're interested in finding a place to run your large-scale mining operation, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to work with you to house your equipment here. So contact us about hosting your large-scale mining operation in our facility, or consider our cloud mining service to leverage our experience and knowledge in mining for yourself.